Hello, everyone. It's us again, just the Noonas here for a nice, weekend afternoon hang. Just chilling, talking about all sorts of stuff. So, what's new, everyone? Anything fun and exciting?
I have a giant fly flying around my head in here. It keeps dive bombing me.
I have like stupid fruit flies. The worst.
Tiny.
Yeah.
It's like you forget one banana on your friggin' counter for like 2 days.
And they really love cat food, and it's just like the worst.
Well, we don't have any yet, but listen, I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Oh, there's a.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay, I was like,
not my
island.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Liliana.
Hello.
Welcome. So yeah, like, what if?
Yeah, we really didn't plan anything.
We didn't plan anything. We just came to like hang out and have a chill, fun time. And we can plug on Monday. We're having a stream party on our Discord. If anyone wants to come on Monday, we're going to be watching Alchemy of Souls over on Discord at I believe 8 p.m. I want to say 8 p.m. 9 p.m. 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes, 8 p.m. Yes. I don't have things written. If I don't have things written down somewhere.
Yeah, my planner's right here. So
yeah. The worst part is so is mine, but instead I looked over to the Discord app, scrolled up and clicked events, and looked to see what time I had put the event as, despite the fact my planner is literally was right next to me.
Well.
Oh, so you guys watched the first episode, Liliana. We're waiting. We're gonna watch it on Monday together. That's
I'm excited though.
Plan. I am.
Yeah.
Listen, like the Hong sisters, it's always so hit and miss with me. Like either I'm just like yes, like injected in my veins, or otherwise I'm like
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite shows is Hong Sisters, so you have at least one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like either I'm like shooters for this show, or it's like okay, that was fine. I guess.
That was a moment in time.
It was a show,
and sometimes it's really good until it's not anymore, and then you're like, all right.
You never know. With them. I don't know. Like anyone watch anything good besides that? Oh my goodness. Well, I've been watching. I just started the Japanese show Kai X Yaku.
I've been wanting to watch that one eventually.
Yeah,
but is that on the high seas?
Listen, we don't ask questions about where Natalia acquires.
I just was making
shows.
Sure. I was just making sure it didn't pop up on Viki. That's why I say
no, it's still.
It's on it. It's somewhere.
Listen, it's on the internet. You can watch it on the internet at some point. But I'm watching it on Plex. So hi Lucy. I just started episode 3. It's pretty good, like so far. I know I'm not like super far into it, obviously, but good characters. Really enjoying the vibes that this show is putting out.
I'm still needing to finish first kill. I haven't. Like I'm a little bit into it. I haven't been watching anything at all. So like that's why I haven't finished it. But
yes, I
old-fashioned cupcake.
am watching old-fashioned cupcake, and it is so good.
Yes,
is it completed?
I love it. No, only 2 episodes.
There's only like 5 episodes, I think. Total.
Yeah, it's like a short.
You want
to?
Yeah.
Well, I personally think not like the plot of it, but like the tone of it is like XX. It has that quality to it. So
yeah, it's just
and it's
so relaxing to watch. You just watch it and
you're
they're
like, older too. Like
yes,
it's so nice. I'm like I'm good. You can only do so many like college kids, and you're like.
Like the college experience is fine and all, but sometimes you just want a 39-year-old man and his 30-year-old coworker who's very obviously in love with him but he doesn't know it. That's what you need sometimes.
Yeah.
This is what you need sometimes. What Well, so I've also been a little frustrated with Viki because I know that Sky also watched this, but I finished Full-Time Wife Escapist, and there's like a movie that like comes after
that exists.
Exists and is on Viki and has been stuck on 39% sub.
I didn't know that Viki had it. I didn't know that Viki had it at all. I'm just saying it exists in other.
Yes, and like I try to be good. I try to be good. Okay,
Yeah, right.
I want to be.
Yeah, if it's on Viki,
because we watched. I mean, how many? The show has 11 episodes,
and we watched them all there.
Were they longer episodes? Did I dream that? I feel like there were longer episodes.
Yeah, they were kind of. Let me just
compared to the tip. I really thought they might have been an hour.
I feel like they were as well. That's
interesting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Full time.
You're right. I mean, we can't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were an hour long, and there was 11 of them.
Yeah. So anytime we are yelling at Viki because of subs, we get
yelling
very
mad. We get very mad at
and actually, so I know a little bit more about this because I was chomping at the bit to watch the show, and I was waiting for it to be completed. I saw that it was complete, and it was like a few days after it was done. And I was an absolute idiot and started watching it without looking at the percent subbed on the last episode. So I powered through it. But again, the episodes are an hour long. So it took me a couple days to, get there. And sure enough, it wasn't done. But I kind of watched, like I looked at the comments on the bottom and people were being pretty nice to the subbing team. And it sounds like the Japanese subtitle team is super overworked. They don't have enough people. And they're super apologetic.
Coming out
like they don't have to apologize. They don't have to apologize. Viki
all the old ones are coming out as fully subbed. That's what they're doing with all the old J-dramas. Like I'm watching that Marigold show. What is it called? Marigold in 4 minutes, and it came out completely subbed.
See, and that's so weird because that full-time whatever
Wife Escapist,
which it's also like we made marriage a job, which that actually makes way more sense for what.
Then it's
but
better title.
It was in 26. Well, how old is it? It's not currently airing like by any means. Isn't it like 2016? I feel like it's an older show. It's interesting that the way they released it
is weird. Because usually they only do that with the ones that
or maybe it was like 2020. Like it's definitely not like super recent. I thought, unless I'm thinking of something else, which is possible. But I feel so bad, like for the subbers.
2016,
right?
2016. So, like, I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
See, I was sitting here as you were saying, like, oh, I didn't check this up, and I was like, oh, you fool. Then I was like, wait a second, you watched the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then realized that the subtitles just cut off and didn't come back. So I can't say anything. I'm literally.
I love when they have like multiple people doing it, and they're like in sections, so it's like you don't realize it until like. It's only like a line or two.
Yeah, no, it's like,
and then like halfway through, now you're at the part where like that person is like fully subbing it.
No, it was like they're doing it in chronological order, so it's like the first 20 minutes were fully subbed. So I was hoodwinked. Okay, like Viki got me. They got me this time. So I was like, ooh, yeah, okay. Oh, it's getting good. And then it was just like subtitles are gone. I was like, oh well.
And
I hate when it's like 50%, but like it's throughout. You're like, I got 10% into this episode and there's no subs anymore. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Let me fast forward to the kissing scene. I bet that one's subbed.
You never know. You never know with Viki, considering the way they even just handled like Cocoa content was so weird with the subtitles and stuff. Yeah. So like,
it's like it doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense.
No, like some of that Cocoa stuff would come fully subbed, and some of it wouldn't, and you're like,
like it just does. It was too erratic. Like you understood if there was some weird contract, but it was never like. You could never find the pattern that made the contract work. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
So it felt almost like show by show basis.
Yeah,
that's
why they felt like it.
Yeah, that's why I let my like subscription lapse, and then I was finally like, oh, there's like 3 J dramas that I want to watch right now. So I was like, okay, I'll just like get the month, power through them, and then like stop it for a couple more months. And then Cocoa just did a announcement. They're partnering with Amazon Prime. Maybe that will open up.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Maybe.
And then Lucy made the unfortunate discovery that the show Checkout is not available in Britain on iQIYI. And see, which wouldn't have been a problem, okay, because it was supposed to be also be on YouTube. But then YouTube was like, the show's too nasty. Like, this show's too sexy. You cannot air it on YouTube. And, like, they're just not allowed airing it on YouTube anymore. So,
that's...
Yeah, Lucy, I also have connections. So, like, don't worry about it. We can make this happen for you. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
but we were talking about general, this is annoying.
we want stuff to be available officially for everybody.
Yeah.
Like...
Like, it shouldn't come to the fact that, like, people in, in North America are, like, talking to their, European friends and being like, don't worry, like, I got you. Like, you can, like, it shouldn't come to this. Like, we're all like, yeah, let us pay you for, like, Disney Plus. I know we harp on Disney Plus
oh my gosh.
all the time.
As we should.
But it's like, why are you doing this?
Okay, it's because they had that stupid vault, right? They had that vault that they always locked all the movies in, and now that they have a streaming service, the movies aren't locked in the vault anymore. They were like, we have this big empty vault. What should we do with it?
What should we do with it?
Put all the Asian dramas in it.
I think the funny thing is how, Snowdrop was the first ish to like come over. But like, and it's been.
I wonder if it was like something like Snowdrop producers or something was like, yeah, no, that's why we gave it to you or something. I personally, I don't want to be this person, but I personally believe Disney is doing it purposely to be the competition for US, but not have to put any money into it whatsoever. Yeah. So take the stuff, make it something that we're not accessible to, or any of the other services are accessible to, and focus on them being in Asia finally, and just like giving it to them. And I think the only reason Disney is not giving it to us is literally because they are trying to force the competition. They're just trying to kill competition, which sucks, because why are you doing that with like dramas? Like, it just
it just. What I find so like funny, just on a personal basis, is that the one drama that they released is basically the only Disney Plus owned drama that I didn't want to watch. Right. That I had like no interest in. I was like, oh great. But y'all are gonna gatekeep Kang Daniel being a rookie cop from me. Okay. I see how it is.
But also, like, Cocoa is supposed to have anything from KBS, NBC, and SBS. And like, okay, maybe we can like do some stupid semantics about like Bloody Heart or Red Heart or whatever is KBS too. But Dr. Lawyer right now is not. It's not it's on the regular station. So we should have gotten it on Cocoa no matter what.
I mean, what's the point? What's the point of having Cocoa?
It's when you start,
like,
you start looking on Cocoa going, what am I watching on here?
It doesn't make, like, it seems like such a money losing opportunity for all of these. Not a money making, money losing by just like for example, Lucy was saying that like Viki has basically nothing in Britain. It's like, do you think that K-drama fans in Britain are just gonna be like, well, guess I will
already stuff. It's not like you have to like I understand like being like, okay, have to pay these subbers, but if you've already like paid for that for other places.
It's like, do they think that like we haven't grown up on the internet, that we don't know how to locate these things? We were, as I was saying in our group chat the other day, we were forged in the fire of LimeWire. We will find it. Okay?
Yeah. Like, I mean, Viki's model still is literally based on fan sub model that they had before when they were just Soompi or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that entire company was based on just being a place for like a fan summer place, and they still do it. They have the fan channels. They keep up those things. Like, to think that people aren't gonna try to go elsewhere is just laughable.
It's ludicrous.
In 2022.
Like, well, especially, do they think that we don't know where to find it? Like, what?
In like 30
it's just
places?
Like when Netflix will be like, oh, no one will quit Netflix. It's like, you're cute.
They will.
Bye. 100% will.
They're like, oh, if you're a Stranger Things enthusiast, you won't quit. It's like, no, you don't know how the internet.
Oh yeah, no. All of my SS 501 was literally in like 20 parts where you had like 3 of the parts just gone.
Yes,
so you just
part
had to
4
guess.
was never there. No, man. I
have a live stream idea that I want to do, like maybe like next month or something, the month after about that.
No, like
yeah.
I remember when I first watched We Got Married, in potato quality, absolute potato quality. Just you barely could see who those people were. And just I'm invested now.
Or like in the corner of the screen.
They're in the corner, there's something else going on the screen. Yeah.
Or when they flipped it, they would.
I can't remember what it was.
Or then Daily Motion, like the way it would be titled with like
the numbers and letters. And do not mention this in the comments.
There was something that I watched on YouTube, and it was like, I think I had to watch it from like 5 different subbers. I had to search for every episode, the way and it would be like. It would bring it up and it would be an hour-long video and you'd be like, okay, cool. And it was just an hour of like, here is the Earl that you need to go to, and I was like, oh, why is this so hard?
Listen, I have seen from our adventures, we have seen so many ads for so many local MILFs who want
a lot of people want me.
I
feel so loved.
There are hot girls all over the place that are apparently just thirsty for us.
In fact, they've already sent you pictures.
They've already sent us pictures, usually of their butts, the good looking butts. But I'm here for the K-dramas. Like, calm down. I appreciate the offer, but
I'm also trying. I mean, like, I have to downsize in subscriptions because I don't have money. But like, I'm starting to just like. Be like, I'm just gonna kind of streamline whatever I need.
At this point, I don't really I'm not watching that much as it's airing anyway. So like it makes more sense to just like cut everything off except for like, okay, maybe I'll keep Vicky this month and I'll watch a bunch of
or be aggressive with the like coupons, like their sales.
And then,
and if you get a pocket of time and then you're in a certain mood and you have 2 things over here to watch. Okay.
I started doing that on my drama list. Now I have lists for like 3 of the
that is smart
like places, and I've just been like going through like when I had time, I'll look through their entire catalog and then like go onto the list and plop them on. So then I have this like list of things that are like potentials that I can like refer to when I have the month, so I don't have to like sit there searching for it during my month.
It'd be even good to like. Drag it to where it's in order of like the thing like that
priority,
you really want to watch next. Yeah. Like these are the 2 I want to get first, because, and then go on down.
Like some of them were like it just looks good. I don't know if I'll like necessarily like actually watch it in full, but like I still want to like remember the title to it and get it.
Yeah,
I did that like last month. I went through when I got my iQIYI membership when they were having that sale. I was going through and I was like, "Ooh, that looks fun. That looks fun." So I just put them all into my current watch list, and then I was like, came back to it later and was like, "I don't know what any of this is." So I just deleted them all. But like, if I did that, had an iQIYI list, then
smart.
Yeah, I looked at on my drama list because it's kind of like separate. It's not even on my like plan to watch. So like I like at least know. Like I've been like, oh, this is Netflix only, or this is. Vicky only, or
and on those lists you can even do a comment and it shows with the so like if there was something specific that you maybe don't want to go research again later, it can be like, remember this is the one that's about like
or like remember this has blah 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 and you really like them in blah blah blah.
So Lucy mentioned Gago Lala being like really best equipped, and I think that's because if I'm not mistaken on this one, for my initial looking into Gago Lala, as long as the app is legal in the country, there's nothing geolocked. Like everything's just available everywhere, unless you're in mainland China, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, these sorts of locations. Where they just
But I mean, the point I mean, wasn't she essentially saying that like there just wasn't a lot on some of the other sites?
Yeah, some of the other ones. But it's because of all this weird geolocking nonsense.
And I found that Gaga Ulala also, even if like two places have it, I'd still be able to watch it in both of those with some of the stuff, which used to be a fairly like easy thing to do. Like Drama Fever and Vicky would always have like some of the same shows. And so like there were times I would remember be like, oh, Drama Fever has it subbed faster, let's go over there.
Well, I find with like Gaga
something weird would happen and you'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Let's go check the Vicky subs because they tend to be more accurate. So you know, pop over.
So Gaga, Lula, and Vicky have a lot of overlap these days. But my one problem is that I hate the video control options or lack thereof on the Gaga Lula app. So I'm just like, I'm always like, okay, like I want to support Gaga Lula. I'm passionate about their platform and I think they're doing good things. But why the fuck can't you fast forward and rewind? I'm losing my mind, you know. So it's like, I want to watch it on Gaga Lala, but when it's on Viki, I'm just like, okay, like can fast forward and rewind on Viki, you know.
But Cocoa sure feels like it's getting on the chopping block for me soon. Like, I'm not mad at them. It's just realistically, what am I watching on it? Except for like the occasional.
I mean, like I'm not kept up with it, but that one. Weekender.
I've been baby. I've been keeping up.
But I want to, like, I can to. I just haven't been watching anything but really Criminal Minds because that's leaving Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, what's the point of Cocoa now? Like, I finally got Tracer, which is like, it's the Tracers on that web service that is like a joint thing with the three like channels.
I don't understand. I don't understand it.
You should have gotten it, like no matter what. And then Disney if Disney keeps on taking stuff, what's the point of Cocoa? Because right now, like maybe if you are like really big on variety shows, I could see Cocoa being your best thing. Right. But like I'm not doing that right now.
I just don't understand why Cocoa, when they have this streaming service, bothers to sell anything to Disney Plus. Like it just
must be making more money.
They must be making more money, but it just from like a short-term perspective, sure. But if you're looking at like a long-term growth perspective, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Unless like the investors are wanting to kill Cocoa no matter what.
Yeah, so that's possible. Because I mean, if you're seeing that, okay, like Disney wants to get into Asian dramas because it's getting so big, Netflix is, then you have to understand that you having your own streaming service is like a potential moneymaker. Like, if Netflix and Disney are like, ooh, let's get on this, and you are already there, stay there. Like, don't.
Yeah. And like most of the people are going to watch the show elsewhere before you even like attempt to get it on your site. So then you're losing a good percent. I don't think they realize the percentage of like people they've lost because people will be like, well, fuck you. I'm going elsewhere now.
Yeah.
And then it's not like people are going to wait. Like you'll have like some people who will be like, oh, cool. Now it's on this. So I'll go on this. But it's not the percentage they think it is, you know?
Right.
And
also it has to be quick enough.
Yeah. Like they've only given us one in this entire time. Like, they've proven that they're not going to do it, so I'm not even going to bother looking for it. I'm just going to...
It would almost be one thing if we just had to wait until it was done. Like airing.
Like they used to do on Netflix, where they would post it in Canada like after it was done airing.
Or even if we had to wait like a week after it aired. Okay, like if you knew it was within a relatively okay amount of time. But like Tracer, how long has that been done? Like a long time now, it feels like. Anyone that was invested in it watched it a long time ago.
There's a lot. Listen, Liliana's right. There's a lot of less than savory websites in which you can locate all of these shows for free. And like they live in this world where they think that's not the case, and I don't understand.
Or that it's easy to like actually crash those sites, and it's not. It's really hard legally to do it.
It's
so
not. Because they all have their servers in places where they don't care.
Yeah, like a couple years
ago, like they don't care.
One of them, I can't remember which one, and it was like everyone freaked out because it was gone, but it was like the next day it was back, but with like a 4 in the title or something, and it was like, and they were like, no, we're here. Don't worry. We got you guys.
I will say though, Disney Plus is kind of a better deal in Canada than it is in the US because it has a lot of the shows that are on like Hulu and stuff that Canada doesn't have access to. So it's like, I will admit, I have Disney Plus. I don't watch a lot of pure Disney content, but like, for example, my husband watches The Simpsons on there and 24 and all sorts of stuff.
My daughter's so into like medical procedures right now, and they're like all over Disney. Like she's got so much access to them now. So
yeah, most of that's on Hulu here.
Yeah,
which is like fine for me because my Hulu is free with my Spotify, so it kind of works out. But like I can't lose. Like that was a while ago that I got it, probably like 4 years now, and so I'm like, don't do anything with Spotify. You have these
just leave it.
But also like Hulu does that thing. It's a service that like does live television too. Yeah. So there's different options in that as well. Like it's
like
the platform isn't like I'm just only streaming like and you can have the access of like everything. It's like got packages and stuff to it.
That's like Lucy, Disney has no Asian dramas here either except for
and that Chinese one, Delicious Destinies or something, like there was some new Chinese one.
Yeah, they're gatekeeping them. They own them, but they will not show them to us. And it's just, Mike.
I got rid of Hulu a while back, but What We Do in the Shadows is going to be coming back. And so
see, that's on Disney Plus here.
And then there's something else, like a movie or something that I think I was interested in that was going to be on Hulu.
Yeah,
so
I think I might wait. Stuff. So like I'll like watch all like catch up on like 911 and stuff just like after the fact.
Yeah.
And also X-Files is on it.
And again, like if it's not on any of the easily obtained streaming services, and if it's an American show and I want to watch it, well,
like everybody else,
that can be a thing I can do regardless. I
guess maybe like these companies actually believe that like if people are doing that, they would never pay for a service. When I think that's not the case.
It's not the case at all.
The percentage, like some, yes, like some legitimately are like, I don't have the money, so that's why I'm doing it. But I think more people than they are like factoring in, which is
are like us.
A problem when you have the wrong people at higher ups, which consistently we know that they have the wrong people at higher up positions.
Like just out of touch. And it's like, because look how popular like like music streaming services are versus buying physical like not physical but buying like digital versions of albums. Like I can't afford to buy
all the music I listen to.
Well, like, and I bought initially I bought a ton of stuff on Google Play, which doesn't exist anymore because it combined with YouTube Music or whatever, and there was a time period where I could like port my music over, and I think I did it, but I don't remember. So like I just don't have those things that I paid for anymore. So
but also, so like the typical person who's not wealthy, we can only have so many subscription sites to things. Like there is a limit. Like we can't just infinitely add.
Yeah, like I don't like. I just feel like as long as they're on a web, like a subscription site, that's like the best option. Like gatekeeping it is not. Like it's like people are not going to be able to watch everything because they won't be able to like have everything, especially. But we have so many subscription services that have Asian dramas, so there should actually be no reason. Like unless it's a governmental thing, which I don't think most, like maybe Chinese dramas, maybe that's it. But like, there shouldn't be an option where it's not available, because it's not like it's like Spotify is like, I mean, there is like Pandora and stuff still around, but like Spotify is like hugely footing the bill for all of their content they put on their stuff, right? But it wouldn't be that way for Asian dramas because it'd be spread out over like 10 different services.
Yeah.
And like some of those services already are producing those dramas too. They're like investing in those dramas. So like it just doesn't make any sense. Like Disney Plus is producing and investing in dramas. So why aren't you like
showing them
more
to
people
us
so you can get more money to pay back?
It feels oddly, well, not oddly. It just feels racist to me, where it's like it's like they think that people in the West won't want to watch Asian dramas when Asian dramas are wildly popular worldwide. And I'm just like, who's giving you this information? Who is giving you this bad information?
Like, I just don't get it, especially post Squid Game world. Like, I just
where everybody could get
like there's been like these huge high profile Asian dramas and films that people are obsessed with and then are wildly popular, and then they're just like, well, I don't think that like anyone would want to watch Grid. And I'm like, bitch, I want to watch Grid. Like, me, I'm the one who wants to watch Grid, and there's dozens of us, dozens. Like,
so to pivot just a little bit, speaking of Squid Game,
oh my god.
Okay, I saw one of the things I saw somebody mention is like, forget about how completely this makes no sense and you completely miss the point. But like Netflix literally just fired most of the people of color that they hired recently and didn't give them any kind of like severance packages or anything, and then announced that they were going to, here we've got $4 million to give to.
Are you fucking high, Netflix? And also, tell me you missed the point of the show.
Right?
Without telling me you missed the point of the show. Like, who is telling these fucking old white men and on the board that this is a good idea? Like, this feels like a troll.
Well,
this feels like there's someone
those
taking
are the people
Netflix
who are
down
saying
from the
it, and like we have to like face the fact that like people in power are legitimately terrible human beings. So this isn't like something that, even if they like, they know it's not the point of the thing, they're like, oh, we'll just do it anyways. Or like they see that like little kids were, you know, bamboozled into what's his face's version of it. So they're like, oh, let's get the money now. And all they think about is the money. But like, you're a terrible human being and like miss everything that like is about Squid Game.
And like, you know what? Like the Mr. Beast version, you can fall whichever way you want on that. But one of the things with his stuff is that literally everybody who comes onto his show leaves with something. Like he gives, you lost, okay, well then I guess that means you only walk away with $5,000. Like he does not, you know, it's still questionable that, but he's not not actually killing people, and B, like,
well, I don't think Netflix is actually going to be killing people like, either.
I don't think Netflix is like going to give them lovely parting gifts either. Right?
Give
like,
us some time, but
he's like, okay, this is fun, and I'm getting the money off of it, but like he's also giving something to everybody. Like everybody left there with money in their pocket or gifts or prizes or whatever, right? Like,
but it's like I look at this and I'm just like, it's the most out of touch reaction to this show that could possibly exist.
So we haven't said out loud what we're actually talking about.
Oh, sorry.
No. So I wanted to just touch back. So just in case anyone is confused about what it is, they're actually going to make Squid Game the Challenge, which will include 456 players in real competition in a series of games for a record-setting $4.56 million in cash prize.
Just stop it.
Billed as the biggest reality competition ever.
It's like
and I think I saw
all
like
that
a
money
comment.
They got from Squid Game.
I saw a comment on like a quote tweet when this was announced, where it's like, why don't you just buy the rights to Takeshi's Castle? Like, you can have more fun with it, and it's not this weird connotation that you're putting on this. Because, like, okay, if anyone hasn't seen Squid Games, it's going to be a mild spoiler. You figure this out pretty quick. But the real point of Squid Games is that rich people are bad. And that the Squid Game is bad. This is a bad thing that rich people are doing for some sick Dr. Moreau's Island hunting the most dangerous game bullshit. So it's just like
that movie a few years ago where like Ice Cube played, I think it was played like maybe it was Ice-T played like a homeless guy who was like, here, do you want to make some cash? And they put him on an island for like rich white people to hunt.
Yeah,
and it was like, and it's like, okay, but
dangerous
you see how that's bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's
you
not,
see why this is wrong.
Not do that.
And it's like, so all us regular schmoes are like, oh, this is wrong. Whereas like these rich people are like, oh, what a fun time they must be having. Like,
and there's going to be so many like clueless, white North Americans who are going to be like, hey, sounds like fun, let's do it. And you're like, if nobody signed up for it, then it would never be a thing. So like, you all could just say, I don't want that, but we won't.
But I mean, just like,
we can't even blame them. They like,
no, I mean, if
people
you
who
want
need money,
like,
exactly like the point of the show is that you can't even blame them for participating.
Because even when people were starting to like figure it out and starting to figure out the deaths, or like, well, my other option was that I was going to have to die.
Slow death versus quick death, like,
well, like, or not even slow death. Some of them it would be like immediately they'd go out and then commit suicide. That was like their like path. So it's like, at what point you're just like, whatever, I was already gonna die anyways, you know.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like it's not like you can trust Netflix to always do something correct. Just like they're handling
Netflix is a corporation. They won't do the right thing.
Do they have like right now the like best in consistency on Asian dramas? Absolutely. But like they still suck.
Yeah. Like they're handling Love on the Spectrum, which is a reality dating show for people who are on the autistic spectrum, which and then I've paid attention to how actual autistic people like think of this show. They enjoy that they are being represented at all, because that's like a thing. But the way it's edited and the way the narrator makes
infantilizes
it, and that's the problem. So like, and I was watching an autistic dude who's a video editor and stuff, and so he was talking about even the way they've edited the video to make pauses longer and to make things like intentionally more awkward. And he could tell, he's like, I could tell that this dinner conversation wasn't as stilted in reality as they tried to make, all these things.
I saw someone who like re-edited a scene from a James Bond movie with Daniel Craig.
It was him. That was the guy.
With like the audio from like the show, and she was like, so does Daniel Craig seem suave now, like with like do like he loves trains and, like, and you're just like, oh no.
And he said, he's like, I don't want it to be canceled, I want them to listen to what we're saying and to fix it, and to also give autistic people agency in the creative process to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Because it's one of those things when like underrepresented people are finally put on TV, like they do something like this, and then people are like, I don't want this, and they're like, see, we're just not going to give you anything else anymore.
Like they do a shitty job at it, and they're like, well, I guess nobody actually cares about representation. Like, it's like, no, this just sucked. Point. This was just bad. Nothing to do with the representation.
But like they're almost two separate things. You did a bad job at it.
You made a shitty show.
It doesn't terrible.
Matter. It doesn't matter who you were representing in the show if it sucked. No, it
kind of like
nobody wants Squid Game.
They used to do bigger movies, and it'd be like, well, it was a woman-led movie and then it tanked or whatever. It's like, because it was a crappy movie. And they're like, we're never going to give you women-led anything, and it's like, no, you're getting
I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because Gina Davis would make incredible action movies and they would actually do fairly well. People would like them, and they would still be like, no, but we don't like Gina Davis, so we're just not giving her
do you know what this happens, but this happens a lot, is that a woman director will make an incredibly good, like not a incredibly popular movie, Like, look at like Twilight or the first Wonder Woman movie. People love them. And then the second ones, they hire a male director to do, and they're never as good.
Because they're like, oh, we didn't know this was going to be popular. Yeah. Now that it's popular, we need a man.
But it's like, but the reason, like, a lot of the reason that it is popular is because of the director directing it. Because, like, I love the first Wonder Woman movie. Okay, like,
me too.
You know, like, Israeli actors and stuff, problems. But if you look, like, for example, if you look at the way that, like, the Amazons are, like, costumed and stuff in the first Wonder Woman, and then you look at the same characters in, like, the Zack Snyder version, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I see what has happened here. You got horny. Suddenly these outfits look less like battle outfits and more like bad sexy Halloween outfits.
Less armor, more something else.
Yeah, like a lot of big, like, lower cut boob situations, and it's just like yeah, it was it was too much. It was too much. Like,
well, they also do this like in ways. Like, too, like, this is, like, a direct response to First Kill and the stuff that, like, is happening with First Kill. First Kill is solidly for teenagers. It is written for teenagers, and we're allowing the adult voices who are like, this is campy, and this is not, like, a good show, and blah, 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 to be the voice of, like, why it's bad. When it wasn't even written for them,
and it's not,
and they're not
bad.
Going to get. It gives you everything that, like, you wanted.
Fun.
But, like, what are the two things that are, like, the biggest things about that show? It features lesbians, and it features, like, a black woman lead.
Yeah. Yep. What I always find, what I found just absolutely fucking telling on themselves with First Kill was a big, like, oh, like, you know, it's nothing new with, like, the plethora of these stories. I'm like, oh,
give me the list. Give me the list
of
lesbian vampires?
Lesbian interracial vampire. Where is this fucking... Where are these shows? Have you been gatekeeping?
And I would like to watch them, please. Where are they?
Are these, like, pitches
I would love to watch the better versions of this.
Yeah, sure. But, like, also there's that thing where it's like, does it have to be super perfect for, like...
Exactly.
Like, you just because you finally have, like, underrepresented groups on screen does not mean that they have to be the shining glory for that.
Yeah,
they don't have to do, like, the best things. And, like, it really isn't that bad. It is for kids. Like, you know, like, it's, if you watch it like that, you're like, okay, I get it. And there's, like, some plotting issues that are, like, whatever, but it's not like it's a terrible thing.
It would be like going over to High School Musical and expecting it to be something it's not.
Yeah,
right.
And expecting, like, Wicked or something. Like,
I mean,
no, this is not the same.
Traditionally, everything has always been seen through the lens of old white men, right? So, like, if old white men say it's bad, then it's bad. And then you, like, you pick up these classic movies that, oh, I heard how bad this is, and you watch it, and you're like, this is really good.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, oh, I really enjoyed this. And you're like, oh, wait a second.
Tank? Right, because it doesn't center white men, so they, white men, like, I don't get it. And, like,
I used to have this fun game I played where my husband reads the Globe and Mail, and then I would read, like, the movie reviews, always written by white dudes, in the Globe and Mail, which is, like, a huge Canadian newspaper, like one of the biggest Canadian newspapers. And it was like, it's like, all the white men hate every popular movie that has ever existed. And I'm just like, okay, listen. I remember they gave The Dark Knight 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I was just like, I think you're being a little harsh on The Dark Knight here. Like, I don't, like, I feel like it's a bit better than that. Like, I think we can all admit The Dark Knight's a pretty good movie. Like, even if it's not the movie for you, it's still a pretty good movie. But it was like any movie that was, like, populist in any way, that wasn't some fucking art film made by, you know, French pedophiles. There's a lot of them. You know there is.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of movies. Like, as if they weren't those, it was just like, this is some, you know, dreck for the masses. And I'm like, well, bitch, I'm the masses, and I fucking think it's great, y'all.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. Oh, you figured that out. We're actually not, like, as small as you think. Like,
it's almost like the masses are most of the people.
Weird.
And the thing, so like First Kill, it's fine that it's not Academy Award, like Oscar worthy. That is fine. Like give us mediocre crud.
That's
we want mediocre
fun,
too,
and some
okay?
shows can be like a little bit more introspective, and like you could get like more action out of another. Like variety is okay. Like it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Also, I'm gonna be honest, like my list of my favorite movies and my list of the best movies I've ever seen, they're not the same list. They're not the same list, and we all know it. Because like,
and like there's just we talk about this all the time on the podcast, but there's just so much it's fun sometimes to just watch something you don't have to like be on top of. Like you don't like you can just watch it and enjoy it. And if like it's a show that like you literally forget about the second it ends, that's fine. It's a show. It's supposed to entertain you, and it's okay if it's not perfect too. Like it just, if you had fun watching it, then you had fun watching it, and they're like that shouldn't be like something that people try to take away.
Well, it's almost akin to like when you talk books and then like, oh, you still read YA? Yeah, because it's easy, dude.
Nice,
sometimes
I like it because it's fun. It's
and also we
and it's
didn't get these in our YA like books. Like my YA does not have all of this representation that I wouldn't be able to find plus size characters in YA when I was younger. Like,
and now you can get it all. YA is so inclusive these days. It's delightful.
Well, even if you look back, I've been seeing. If you look back just 7 years, like things were way different, and so it's nice that that's all changing. And so, you're reading, YA. Yeah, leave me alone. Like,
like sometimes it's just like fun
teen books.
And
like
read a book in
there's some good shit out there. There's some good shit out there that I'm just like, ooh, I wish this had existed when I was a child reading Dragonlance, because there wasn't any good like female-led fantasy novels, and that's just what I want in this world.
Yeah.
All right, I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I really want to read Jiren J. Chow wrote a middle school book called Zachary Ying and something. I can't remember, but like I want that book because Iron Widow was wild and I really enjoyed it. So like I would love to see what she wrote or they wrote for
I'm reading
middle grade
right now. His title is very long, so I always kind of forget it. But it's a Gaslamp novel, and if you're unfamiliar with the Gaslamp genre, it is like steampunk but with wizards. So it's called The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry, and it has lesbian fire mages. Like, so I was like, oh, you've sold. So like, Susan was like, he was like, ooh, a lesbian like gas lamp romance. I'm like, say no more, fam. So the other one I love in the gas lamp series. This one leads more heavily towards steampunk. It's literally anything by Gail Carriger. Chef's kiss. Like she wrote oh my god, what are those books called? The Soulless series. The Parasol Protectorate.
Yeah. Soulless something.
So good. Just chef's kiss. But actually, I really love the Parasol Protectorate, but she has like a series that takes place with like the daughter of like the couple in the first series and like her adventures on her dirigible flying around the world.
Amazing.
So good.
Exactly.
We should do it like a non-Asian book club. Maybe not like intensely like live streams or something, so we don't have to prepare, but like
right.
Yes. We're just like, listen, we want to just read some like lesbian fantasy novels. So
and then talk about it a little bit.
I just finished Alex E. Harrow's A Mirror Mended, which is the second in a series, but I never read the first one and I didn't miss anything. Like it was it stood alone pretty comfortably. But it's a story about like characters in fairy tales. This character in this fairy tale, she's the Sleeping Beauty character in her story, but when she pricks her finger with a spindle, she can travel to other versions of Sleeping Beauty, and she goes around rescuing others. And so that's the basis of the first one. The second one is she gets yoinked through a magic mirror of not her own volition by the evil queen in a Snow White story, who is like, I have seen in my magic mirror that you travel through stories. I don't want to stay here and die, so like, help me out. And then they fall in love.
Speaking my
so like, but she stays
language
evil.
right
Like
here.
it's very good. It was very fun. Like, yeah.
Oh, like, see, this is why we love these sorts of things. Like, how fun does that novel sound?
Well, and also these novels, they don't necessarily have to be like the best crafted. Sometimes it is just like fun and
They're
candy.
fun.
Yeah, like you fill in the blanks. Like we don't have to be over explained. You know?
I've seen reviews of that book where they were like, there's too much like modern language in it and stuff. Yeah, because the main character is from a modern retelling of Sleeping Beauty. She's set in our world. Of course, she swears.
Y'all read the fucking book.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
Okay. I was like, no,
not a true story. Get over it.
Right. You can't have anachronism in a fantasy novel, okay? I just want to point this out because it's a fantasy novel. It's fiction and made up. I don't know if this is a new concept.
I've seen that comment about some other like fantasy novels lately, but like the fantasy novels are usually trying to feel like you're a part of that world. Therefore, not everyone talks in flowery language like you.
Yeah, and there's also like they'll do that stupid thing where they'll be like, "Why would there be a black person here? It's supposed to be a fantasy." I'm like,
"Oh my god, no." Okay, so like, I am like obsessed with the series, not the show, with the show a little now. But I was for many years up until today. I've been obsessed with the Wheel of Time books.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you, like, people fucking losing their minds over like the multiracial casting of like the Amazon.
Also
like,
doing it with what is the other one? Amazon's doing the Lord of Rings one.
Lord of the Rings.
They are like you so upset.
You think that a fantasy series can't have black people in it? What the fuck?
They're
so mad that there are black elves. Like, you're like, so like elves are supposed to be a people group, like humans. It's there's variety. You didn't get mad that there's black hobbits, like
yeah, it's like the people
that's
mad.
Where I draw the line.
It's like people mad when there's like black people in Star Wars. It's like there's fucking aliens in Star Wars, and like you think that black people don't exist? Like, what are you talking about? You fucking nightmares?
Like, that scares you?
Well, I mean, original Star Trek, right? It was like, it's fine that Kirk is kissing a green woman, but we draw the line at a black woman. That's too far. You're like, come on.
It's like what do you think it was trying to say? Like, you know, like the people who are like, oh, Star Trek's way too woke these days. It's like, dude.
You never watched
Tell me you never watched the original.
Tell me you had no like comprehensive.
Have you heard of Gene Roddenberry and like what he was about at all?
Because he was one of us, my guys. He was one of us. Like, get out of here.
Shocker.
Get out of here. No, I just like every time I gain a year of life every time I see someone being like, "Oh, when did Star Trek get so woke?" Yeah, the 60s.
Yeah,
the Star Trek got woke in the 60s when it was.
Have you been in a coma?
It might have been pretty campy woke, but it was woke.
But it was still it was still pretty woke.
Yeah. And like some of that stuff's not perfect, right? Like they tried to do things that now some of it doesn't sit right, you know, like with trans issues and stuff. Because they were trying, right? Like they were trying to get a point across that they didn't have maybe the language for or the opportunity for, because it was public television in the 60s.
Yeah, it was the 60s, and like, they got in trouble for having a black woman and a white man kiss. Like, so evolved at the time, right? And it's just like, fuck off. Just fuck off. Like, with, when did it get so woke? Or the people, you know what? Just Sky and I laugh about this a lot, is people who get really upset about Star Wars. And we're like, listen, Sky and I love Star Wars. Star Wars is stupid as hell and has always been stupid as hell. That's what makes it fun.
it's just like space fantasy crap. It's not supposed to be.
It's space western. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
It's comedy. It's comedic. It's
the people who are mad at the new Obi-Wan series because like baby Leia is too precocious, and you're like, did you meet Leia? Did you ever watch her in
Did you
anything?
ever like
That
pay
is
attention
exactly
to her?
who she was. But it's not Princess Leia in a bikini with Jabba the Hutt, so it's not my Princess Leia. And you're like, she's 10. It shouldn't be. Like,
which like
but it's exactly the Princess Leia we were introduced to in that first movie, right?
Exactly, Lucy. Exactly. People would allow incest, but not a black stormtrooper.
Yeah.
They're Star Wars. Like,
internet.
Start again. Can you hear now? Sorry, everybody. My internet's specialty is in.
No.
Is it being
Go
ahead.
Just we're sort of like being a little dramatic because we did record a podcast episode yesterday and her internet was doing this, and so pre-warning, there will not be a lot of Sky content on Monday's episode.
She tried really hard.
It happens to all of us. We have
trying so hard.
We have a little joke that every week another one of us is chosen to be the one.
So it's my turn.
Yeah, when you're not in the same place, if you can't have like reliable internet, even if we like record it separately, which we don't because I'm too lazy to edit that.
Yeah,
you're not.
Do that.
That's a lot of work.
But like it wouldn't matter anyways because you would have talked and all we would have heard was the robot thing, so it still wouldn't matter.
Right.
But Monday's episode is going to be real good.
Yes.
I assure you, y'all are gonna like it. Y'all are gonna like, and you better like it because I picked the topic, so y'all better like it.
Yeah.
All I was gonna say is Star Wars is not perfect by any means, even with it being a comedic thing. Just like people hating on the new, the trilogy, the newer trilogy. But like the main issue with the newer trilogy is maybe issues about the Black Stormtrooper and obvious that character was supposed to be more of a main character and he got sidelined. Like those are the things we should be discussing.
Yeah, that's what we should be upset about.
Like those are the things that I always want to talk about. Not like, it'll be like, oh, my headcanon didn't exactly happen the way I wanted to. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing. Because you didn't write it, my guy. Like, no, but like if you liked the actor who played Finn on new ones, you should check out his one of his earlier movies. It's called Attack the Block. Oh, so good. It's like a sci-fi, like an urban sci-fi story about like an apartment building that gets attacked by aliens, and he plays like a ne'er-do-well youth in the midst of this. It's really good. It's really good. Like, yeah, that's right. That's right, Lucy. Lucy gets it. It's good. Lucy and I have very similar tastes. In
you and Lucy, I'm noticing today. I'm like, you're
no. I've been noticing this for a while since Lucy and I first became acquainted.
And Lucy also doesn't sleep very much. Despite the fact that we are on, and neither do I. So despite the fact we are on vastly different time zones. We have a lot of interactions.
Frankie is scheduling hagdom stuff. She'll be like, oh, and like Lucy signs up for every single show. And we're like, okay, but that one's 3 a.m. She's like,
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll just wake up. It's good.
See, you know what? It's funny. If I didn't live in this apartment building, I would also go to ones that are like 3 a.m. But fucking neighbors who are constantly whining, that's just fine. I don't want to annoy neighbors, okay? I don't want to. But the day that I convince my mother to let me move into the farm in the middle of nowhere.
But you also need to convince Belle to.
Yeah, it's got to get the internet.
There is satellite internet. Mom's just too cheap to get it. Like, it does exist. She just doesn't have enough money to pay for it because it costs like $800 to install, and she just doesn't have $800. I'd be like, that's number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And then, it'll be all times a day, Natalia.
Oh, something I wanted to mention, just because I found it fascinating. There's going to be a couple of LGBTQ dating reality shows coming in Korea.
Oh,
soon. I had retweeted it on our page. Let me go see what the names of them are. But I wouldn't have guessed that they would be happening now. Like, consider the climate. I just wouldn't think they were to that point yet.
I saw somebody comment on it, and their first sentence was like, terrible idea, and I was like, oh. And then they went on. They were like, I'm just so concerned for all the people who will be involved because it's not going to go well for them here. Like, and it was concerning to this person who lives in Korea that these people were going to be that publicly out.
But it's like,
this time,
so
good for them though, like, because that's what you sort of need in order to change public opinion. You really need someone to step up and be on the reality.
If you keep on like just kind of just shutting it down,
so it doesn't say which. It says local online streaming platform. Oh, Wave. So on Wave, so 2 LGBTQ romance reality shows coming this July. So super soon. The first one is called Marry Cheer. It's about LGBTQ couples navigating love and discussions about marriage. And then the second one is Others Love or His Love, and it's a gay dating show.
It's kind of fun. But
I mean, I do think that there's obvious risks and things, but I was like, that's good. I mean, can we say that the Western world does near as much of that as we should be? No, like
no, nobody's doing it well.
No, because like even those like all the dating shows that we have, they don't really put like bisexual people on there and just say, like, you could make a show of just bisexuals and just be like,
just let them pair up as they will, you know,
see where it goes, you know, like.
And then they would edit it crappy, probably.
I think it is to normalize it.
Yeah.
It like at a certain point.
It's literally like the first step is just like they have to like, you have to sort of impress upon people that it's like, no, we're just as boring and lame as the rest of you.
Yeah, not consistently be appeasing the people who are against it. That's like the big thing. When you start appeasing, then they think they have a voice. Yeah. And then they get stronger and like more.
So you just gotta tell them to fuck off.
Like every single year when Seoul tries to have their their Pride Parade stuff, every time they have to have this like back and forth. They have to pretty much do concessions with the conservative side, and so the conservative side always has whatever different demands every year, and them
they're always
to
stupid. They're always stupid.
So like this year it was, well, you can have it, but you can't hand out porn essentially or whatever. Like,
but they never were handing out porn.
It was literally just like penis-shaped chocolate and then cookies. Like that's all it was. And they were like, and there's no other laws in the entire city
any of that.
For any of that. They're just impressing that on. So it's like whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. It's like always, all this, this nonsense about like people telling. We talk about this all the time too. People telling on themselves constantly. Like I look at all these people who are like, yeah, those drag queens are like groomers, and I'm like, no. That's the right-wing politicians, coaches, teachers, and priests. Don't be putting this on the drag.
We have a 200-page document that says it.
We have history says it ain't the drag queens that are doing this shit. Okay, no.
You're deflecting
on yourselves,
and we all know.
Telling on yourselves,
right?
Exhausting. Or it's like I think one of my favorite clapbacks is this meme that comes up all the time where it was like there was a Disney cartoon that had like 2 girls kissing in it, and then someone was like, how dare they show this to children, like it's so inappropriate, and then someone replied with a video of like Minnie and Mickey kissing, and it's like, what about this? Is this inappropriate? And they're like, no, that's not inappropriate because like they're man and woman, and then the reply was, they're 2 rats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
kind of like maybe they're a furry.
all the all the pearl clutching about like Lightyear and how it just shows a side character being in a
like his
marriage.
Like you okay, so like this movie takes place in like a futuristic world with like aliens and spacefaring and like evil robots. Somehow you think gay people don't exist in the future? What are you talking about? They exist now.
They have always existed. Just because you tried to shut them down does not mean like they weren't existing. Like
the B movie is a thing.
The B movie. She was gonna fuck that bee. Fuck that bumblebee, and we all know it. Like, y'all, they just go out of their way to just be so stupid. That is just, oh my god, get it together. Like, yay. Like, it's so. Like, and these are from the same people who will have no problem with some like 40-year-old dude marrying an 18-year-old, and it's just like,
or like hitting on like a 13-year-old,
or like catcalling like 12-year-olds. Like, excuse me,
doing a countdown for their favorite like star who's
celebrity to turn 18. Like, y'all gross. Okay, like we're not
exhausting how disgusting you are.
Yeah,
or like. A thing I've read across is like, oh yeah, most youth pastors end up marrying people that were in their youth group. Like,
why?
And they think that's like common and good. It's like, no,
that's not good. That is not a good thing.
It's their not young youth group. That's the thing that they're teaching.
I think the most important word to take from this is youth. Youth. That means children. That's disgusting.
Our church at one point, like our last youth pastor was a grown adult with a wife and children. And some people were like, "But will he be able to relate to the youth?" And I was like,
"It doesn't give a
hit
shit
on them." So
it doesn't matter if he can relate to the youth. He's not going to try to have sex with them, and that's the most important part. So he's probably not going to be a pedophile.
Coming to look for a wife, so like I would.
This is not dating.
Let's give him a shot.
Like, right? Like, Jesus Christ. Good God!
Just talking to all the youths in this.
Listen, and if anyone
can be my
I'm not entirely sure why, like, a teenager would watch our stream. I don't really think that's our demographic. But if a teenager has wandered onto our stream and has made it this far, I want to tell you that dude in his 20s does not think you're mature for your age. No. Okay? You are a victim of a crime. Get some help. Please tell a responsible, trustworthy adult who doesn't want a guy to get in your pants. Ugh. Gross.
Speaking of, there's a specific Korean actor that keeps getting work.
Oh my gosh.
Should not freaking get work.
I'm like trying really hard to like keep on tabs with these people, like, because before I wasn't, because I just wasn't like, that's just too many names.
You have to have mental room.
So we started like a my drama list, but also Sky was the one who was like this person, and I was like, okay, commit this to your memory. And now he's in everything.
He must have fucking connections. Like,
well, I mean, he's been in the industry for like decades, but like. I don't even think he has to have like connections. I think he could just talk about it, like, and he's just there. But
and
it's
you
just
know
like,
what really pisses me off about this dude is that he's in like every show that I want to watch.
Yes,
and I'm just like, this guy.
You can't get away from it. Like, it's awful.
We need people to make the no pedophiles cuts of things, and like no pedophiles and rapists cuts, and they just cut out all the like.
Listen, they can just like listen. I know what they can do.
Like 3 episodes long.
Guys, I solved the problem. Okay, they can just hire Nat and Wu to come refilm all of the pedophile scenes in every single show.
He's in like thrillers. That's the problem. So if you cut him out, like you like miss vital information.
Right? Yeah, like all you have to do. It can just be Nat and Wu sitting in a screen, just in like a green screen, just reading the person's lines. I'd be happy with that. I'd be like, cool. Okay, I'd be like, the Nat and Wu cut. Yeah, come save us from ourselves at this point. Like, Jesus.
Because even Again My Life, isn't that the one that
he's in Again My Life, he's in Why Her, and he's going to be in Adamus on him. Yeah, that one. I mean, he's been in everything too. Like he was in. He shows up for like one episode arcs, that sort of thing.
Sensei, Hyena, like those are two things that I absolutely adore.
I mean, like he probably has like 300 titles to his name. Credits. Yeah, even with who is it? I'll find it because I have my list. My
what I want to point out is like relatively okay. So like these middle-aged and older male actors creeping on young women, very common. You know what's less common? Like I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying it's very much less common. Is gay actors and women creeping on young people. That's so I feel like this might be a straight male problem.
So it
needs to be addressed.
2002 he was blacklisted by NBC, but then NBC lifted the ban in 2021 when he was in The Veil. So if you don't know who he is, it's Lee Kyung-young.
Yeah, we calling it.
Literally.
We saying it.
I mean, he's losing Again My Life, The King of Pigs, The Veil, Vincenzo, The World of the Married, Hyena, Vagabond, Running Mates, Human Rights, Haiti, Room 9, number
like
9,
the kids are adults now,
Stranger,
so we
D-Day. He's even in shows where they talk about like underage people being violently assaulted.
Yeah.
And he did that. And arrested for it.
Creepy I feel like the ban on what's his face from Kingdom for doing drugs was longer than that. Like,
no,
it wasn't about the same, but
it's like 20 years for this guy. So
okay, fair enough.
But it was only NBC. That's the only one.
Only NBC, yeah.
Because he's still like, I mean, 2001. He didn't come back until 2006. Looks like
5 years.
So 5 years he stayed.
5 years to try to make people forget about
because he can't just fuck someone his own age. Like
that's because none of them want him because he's creepy. But
I
y'all,
feel
if
like
someone is
he
older
was
and
married
creepy,
at the time too, though. He married when he was
probably.
Yeah,
and that's probably that's probably the only reason he got even like a sentence because at that time it would have been illegal, right?
Yeah,
adultery was illegal.
Adultery was illegal.
Mm.
Because the legal age of consent in Korea is 13, I believe. So
I think that might have changed, but
maybe
at the time,
I just saw somebody discussing it recently. So
increase, like if you are raped in Korea, if the guy was drunk, they will let it go because he wasn't able to like make the decisions too.
But listen, but if you were drunk and get raped, it's your fault.
Yeah,
but like
I'm not saying we don't have them here though. Too we have them here.
Yeah, we say that as though that's not how cops treat rape victims here as well.
Yeah,
they 100% do. It's just
but I mean,
pretend like they don't.
You see with fans who will be like, "Oh, but he wasn't convicted," and you're like, "Yes, because it's very hard to convict." But what you need to look at is that when he countersued the victim, she's won. She won when he countersued, which tells you that there was plenty of evidence. There just wasn't a weapon involved because that was the parameters. If he doesn't have a weapon, it's not rape.
Or sometimes the case itself might be covering a different crime or something, and so the evidence is only focusing on that thing. So if they find that he did all this other awful stuff. Well, it doesn't have to do with this. So,
yes, a very, very popular person. That's exactly what it is, and it's in testimony that he actually did everything he did. But his court case was not about that. That was just evidence that came out. So,
yeah.
Can you tell that we really care about this and that we fixate on this because it's important?
We get very fixated on this shit.
I started a My Drama list just to try to help because I'll never remember those names ever.
Right, it's tough to keep track of
them because I was looking for them and then I was like, you know what, I don't want to look for this anymore. This is a sad thing to have to look at. So it's not complete, but if you know of anybody, I'll keep it up and maybe I'll also move it over to our certified Noonas, my drama list, and then we can like.
Yeah. Because especially when you're newer to watching Asian dramas, and you don't know these people,
especially when they have huge fan bases still that will just allow them to do whatever they want.
Oh yeah.
I made a random comment about an actor at one point, and somebody like DM'd me and was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, you can make your own decisions, but like, here's the link.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Like, and they had been in stuff for a while, but like, you miss things. You just don't see it, right? And then it's like, it comes up and you're like, just so you know.
Yeah.
He's a rapist, but like.
Well, I think it's always important to keep track of that stuff because, I mean, even like Western side of things, as far as like, it's good to know what happened to Brendan Fraser as an example. To know who are the people you should be supporting and giving attention to and what happened to that person. A handful of you still need to know those things because who should we be trying to uplift and give attention to? Yeah. The people that have been victimized by this stuff. And spending the brain power to single out who still is getting work and should not be.
And here's the thing. There is plenty of replacements. There are plenty of people who are at the same level or better than every single one of these people.
Don't do this shit.
So true.
And
don't do this shit.
That's the thing. It's not like, I understand the Korean pool is very small, much smaller than like,
but there's
US,
still
but
enough of them
mean,
that like listen, there are plenty of middle-aged actors who are very talented and who don't diddle children. So
there's
a lot of like minor characters that are showing up. Right? Move them to a main.
Listen,
if
Kim
we
Won-Hae
just
is just there. He's there. Kim Won-Hae is there. He's waiting. He's in the wings.
Kim Won-Hae, Nan-woo, they should just go.
They should go
fix
replace
everything.
Kim Won-Hae's got the older ones. Nan-woo's got the younger ones. They go in, they refill, they make everything better for us.
Can't find anybody else. They're like on standby. They're like, okay, I got it.
I'm ready to go in chief.
I've been in this long enough that I literally only have to spend like about 5 minutes memorizing my lines. I'm good.
Yep. They don't take any actual like contracted work. They just like sit and wait. And I'm in. Like, here I go.
The companies aren't policing it because the companies also are run by pedophiles and rapists and abusers of women. So they're fine with it because they don't value.
When all that stuff came out around the Burning Sun time with all the group chat things, when they went out, when Korean news went out to like campuses, like college campuses, all the guys laughed and said, then I guess we all should go to jail.
Yeah, you should.
All of them are in group chats like that. Every man, like,
because it becomes socially acceptable when like it doesn't get contested, it becomes socially acceptable, and then like you get people at young like developmental stages in their minds, and then they kind of just keep on going.
And then it's only until someone
like keep in mind,
tells them, "Nah, y'all
watching this stuff."
And this isn't just a Korea problem.
This is
a men worldwide problem.
We're like specifically like focusing on it because our podcast is about Asian dramas, and like obviously there are more people that I don't like know the pools of like other countries enough to be like, okay.
Yeah. When I lived in Halifax, there was a big story that came out that there was a group chat of all the male dental students at the big university in Halifax had a similar sort of group chat, and they were except for like a few of them who were like the ones who were like, yo, this group chat exists, like you need to do something about this. They got like kicked out of university, and that's what needs to happen. Is like they need to be shown there's consequences to this bullshit.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that we as fans need to be aware of as well, is that just because your favorite has not been discovered to be in something like this yet does not mean that they are different. Like, they might be. I'm not saying I mean, obviously, when all this group chat stuff came out,
statistically speaking, they can't all be
very
creeps.
Specifically came out and said, oh no, like they tried to, and I was like, no, bye-bye, and I left, right? Like, so we know it's not everybody, but just because your fave hasn't yet doesn't mean they haven't.
Yeah,
like,
it's not ever a guarantee.
You know? Be aware that the culture
and I think this is also something that you should be aware about when other people are talking about people. Like, I always feel this way, like, it's hard when, like, especially when we're doing, like, episodes where we're doing deep dive and we're like, oh, we really like this person. It's in the kind of assumption that, like, we're just kind of going on at what we are given.
Yeah.
And it could always change.
Yeah, listen.
But it's always something I, like, worry about. I'm like, it's not that we're, like, saying that, like, if something went wrong, we would just be like, oh, they're not. That's not them. Example, I know like, them, but like
we did, you know, to bring up our own past, we did do a Big Bang episode, and then when all that came out, we actually did on another episode come back and be like, okay, listen up.
Well, it was we did
a whole Sungri.
Yeah, we did a whole episode. We deleted it.
Sungri episode because he had just done that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that episode no longer
exists. Be fair, a lot of us Sungri was like someone we liked.
Yeah, we found him amusing, and I liked his solo work, but I don't listen to his solo work anymore. I was like, nah, son, you done. My love is always conditional to every single person I ever meet.
But there's not a single person, and it doesn't even, I don't even have to know you. Yeah. Honestly, if I don't know you, you probably only get one chance, and if you say something bad, I'll block you. Like, I'll be like, I don't care. I don't care about people enough to even try. Like, at a certain point, you're like, no. Yeah.
No, conditional all the way.
That's why we should all stand
Lucy,
women because
same.
Yes,
you know,
women.
Not
that
women,
it happens there, but
it does happen,
not the same percentage.
Not the same percentage, and not. Yeah, it's different. Typically,
it's definitely different because we don't have the option. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of we wouldn't even have the option to do it because we are already targets.
It's a big thing, and bullying scandals, I'm not down with that either. So, like, if your girl is a terrible human being, she's a terrible human being. And
but
we all went to
high
school. We know girls who were terrible human beings, but like, there's less.
I guess I will say
less sexual assault and things
unless
going
a person is doing something where they're like selling drugs to minors or doing something nefarious with like selling the drugs, I don't care about drug scandals.
I don't give a shit. Like,
that's not in my like realm of
like, listen, I'm not gonna judge people for like lighting up a doob. Like, I don't care.
But also people have addiction problems. Like, people
and that's perfectly fine. I think like you have to like have that like level for yourself, because if it's something that affected you, you're going to look at that situation a little bit differently.
Well, and I think like Lucy mentioned the alcohol issues and stuff, that there are a lot of really like there are a lot of stories come out of Korea of people who have drunk drive and like killed somebody or like whatever, but it's like, that's not as bad because it was just alcohol, but you smoked marijuana, you should be in jail forever. And you're like, that's died. People died.
Like, things. It's like, you know, that there's a difference. Like, if it's like you just smoking in your like apartment, like, what's that gonna do?
Like me,
if you smoke pot and they got behind the wheel, then we can talk. But
exactly, then you're potentially hurting other people.
Funny story. In Maine, driving under the influence is called an OUI, so operating under the influence. But there are French people in Maine, and Maine borders New Brunswick, which is where I'm from, and it's the only province in Canada that is officially bilingual French-English. So they had all these signs to try to stop people from like smoking weed and driving, and it said like smoking then driving, which in French, if you're unaware, means yes. So they were unintentionally being like, smoking pot and driving, yeah.
I just saw a woman on Twitter just mentioned, like, she didn't grow up there, but she said she just noticed, like, she just discovered that line wasn't like water, because all of the stuff she had as a kid just cut off, right? Like, cut everything off, and was like, she's like, I didn't know there was anything above, like, next to Maine. I didn't know. She's like, I feel kind of dumb now, but okay. Yeah. Like, I'm like, no, it was like a whole country up here, guys.
Lucy, the way that passed is that lawmakers don't speak French, so they didn't realize.
Well, yeah. And then maybe they assumed if it was like all capital, like you would get it. Like you'd be like, but I guess like
that's just also it's like
yeah, like even if you were in that area, you would know what that meant. Like we would like, I mean, like most of the other states wouldn't know what the OUI meant though, too. Like if we like if I came up, like it's not OUI in Florida. So that would be the concern. So probably they were just like, locals will get it. But I would have done something funny, be like, we, but not we, like small we.
Yeah.
You know,
it's but not we. No.
You get what I mean.
We
like
OUI. Not.
I'm telling you though, like the geography taught in the US is painful, like to witness. My mom's from New Jersey, but we lived in New Brunswick because she was married to a Canadian, so we lived in Canada. But we would drive down to New Jersey all the time, and our car had New Brunswick plates. And there is a town in New Jersey called New Brunswick, and we were stopped at a gas station getting gas, and someone was like, "Whoa, I didn't know towns could get their own license plates." It's like it says Canada on the license plate too, guys. Like. Y'all.
Yeah, I mean, like it's stupid, but also like what your thought would be if you already know New Brunswick, like an actual place.
Bye, Lucy.
Then I can see that. Bye, Lucy. Like it's just like your immediate like is like New Brunswick, and you're like, wait a minute, that sounds weird.
It's like wait, I've never seen a town have its own license plate. Let's think about this for a moment.
I mean, like it also like stems to the fact that like all of our license plates are different too. So like each state is different. So we're used to seeing different license plates in different configurations.
Canada. Every province has a different one too.
Yeah.
Although now, like you can get, I mean, we can get them for fandom things and so like you can get them with your
we can do that too
logo and all that stuff, so it's like
and then
even within the province of Ontario there's so much variety.
They do here where like you have like different charities that you can also do like wildlife ones, so then it looks different than Girl Scouts or something, and then the vanity ones, and then
so the province where I'm from, New Brunswick, has another funny thing that I should mention because it's like they gave up. So the New Brunswick Tourism decided they were going to like revamp like the tourism ads, and they had to come up with like a new like slogan for New Brunswick to like entice people to come visit New Brunswick. And the best they could come up with, and this is really telling about how happening New Brunswick is, was be in this place. That's it.
And do just
be here, like
be centered here.
Like, okay, listen, we get it. All of the other maritime provinces are a little more exciting than New Brunswick. Like PEI has got Anna Green Gables, and like Nova Scotia has all Lunenburg and all the beaches and everything. But New Brunswick's okay. We speak French. We have a giant lobster in my hometown. There's a giant lobster statue that you can climb. Unrestricted access to this like 12-foot tall lobster
so you would have
statue.
the main tagline that you wanted would have been something about the lobster statue.
Well, listen, the lobster statue, pretty great. I just feel like they could have tried a little. I don't know what it would have been because New Brunswick kind of sounds.
Maybe that was the best they could do.
But like that was the best they could think of. Like I get it, but also, guys, come on, guys. Also, Mike, 63 versions of a license plate is too many versions of a license plate. I'm going to be honest.
Also, our driver's licenses are all different, and some states do stuff differently. Like some states, if you're a minor, the license is a different orientation. So like the person who's checking it knows immediately because it'll be like up. But that's not all of them, too. Yeah. And some places you can like send in your registration and get it through the mail. Sometimes you have to go into it's so fucking annoying.
I can't remember exactly how it is, but my daughter and my son both got their licenses over the last year. And there's something new on the card that didn't used to be there that indicates like
they're
in fairly bold like that these are minors. So when they get old enough that they could be drinking, they need to get new cards that don't
it's a lot younger in Canada to be able to drink. Like in Quebec it's 18. It's either 18 or 19 here, depending on what province you're in. But like let me tell you, Quebec, they don't care about drinking. Very French. It's very French. I remember, so I was probably about 20 and I was having like a party with some college friends. So, and you can buy like liquor at the grocery store. Like you don't have to go to the liquor store is for like fancy booze. But if
some of the states do that too.
Yes, but if you don't want beer or some cheap wine, it's all in the grocery store. So I was buying some beer and some wine for this party, and she's like putting it through, and I was like, oh yeah, like just for funsies, like, can I have like a scratch off, like a lottery scratch off ticket? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna need to see some ID. And I was like, I just bought like $90 of like alcohol, and she's like, oh yeah, the SAQ doesn't check, but Lotto Quebec, they're on our ass, so I'm gonna see some ID.
They do what they do here, where like you'll be the one who sold it, so you go to jail, not the person, because that's what happens. And that's the reason why, like, if you ever like encounter that, it's because the cashier is not going to take your.
I don't think they go to jail here, but the store gets fined. So
yeah. They'll like literally like handcuff you and walk you out because you sold to a minor.
That seems like a bit of an overkill. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been going for like an hour and a half of just having fun little conversations. I feel like we would love to stay, but I feel like we should call it a day for today.
Go eat or something.
I did have listen, for the first time ever, there's a bit of a meme in our group that I never eat before we record. I had a grilled cheese sandwich before I came here and a cup of tea. So anyway, so we're gonna call it a day, I believe. So we hope that you had a really fun time, like hanging out with us, because we always have a fun time hanging out with you. We'll be back with there's no live stream next week because we're doing our watch party, and our Patreon watch party is next week as well. So we thought, we're not gonna triple load ourselves, but we'll be back always with live stream at usually once a week. So we hope that you adios, Michelle. So thank you for coming. We hope you had a fantastic time, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.